Friends, today is Friday, the 31st of July, and it's the feast of St. Ignatius, one of the great saints in the heavenly kingdom, a saint who has really probably affected many of us through the many Jesuit schools and universities throughout the world. We come to a new section in our gospel today. We're still at the very end of the 13th chapter. We're just finishing all of those parables of Jesus that we studied and looked at. And the next section, chapters 14 and 15, kind of hard to sum it up in a common theme, but mostly it's reactions to Jesus, reactions to the person of Jesus, including today in the gospel story, where Jesus moves from his headquarters in Galilee, the north of Israel, along the Sea of Galilee in Capernaum, where his word was received and accepted, and in particular by the disciples and apostles, as we have seen. But now he moves from Capernaum, it says, to his native place. His native place. And his native place was Nazareth, not too far from Capernaum. But the reaction is entirely different. Entirely different. It's one of rejection and lack of faith. Well, even worse than lack of faith, sometimes the disciples are described as having little faith or lack of faith, but here it is unbelief completely. Jesus comes to his hometown, begins to teach, and they're astonished at his wisdom and mighty deeds. But this astonishment is not a positive astonishment. It's one of suspicion. It's one of anger. It's a little hard to understand why that would be the case. And they wonder, isn't this the person who was the carpenter's son? Isn't this the son of Mary, his mother, his brothers, James, Joseph, Simon, Judas, his sisters? Aren't they all with us? And so on. Where did this man get all this? Well, of course, that's a question that has echoed through the ages. Where did this man get all this? Who is this person? Who do people say that I am? And yet their astonishment, of course, in a sense, indicates to us, as it did to all people, how powerful his words were, how powerful his voice, his words, his deeds, irresistibly powerful. In fact, kind of surprising how these people in Nazareth could not be sort of taken in by them. But they remember a different person, and they won't open their minds and hearts to Jesus as he is today. This irresistibly powerful voice that recently we heard on the Feast of St. Martha, the story of Lazarus, when Jesus, with his powerful voice, cried out, "Lazarus, come out!" And it said the dead man, came out of the tomb. That is the powerful voice of Jesus. You know, one of the church fathers, Origen, back in probably the, 4th century perhaps, Origen said, all of Jesus' acts were like words. All of his acts were like words because they spoke to people. And likewise, all of his words were like acts because they were so powerful. Jesus said, Lazarus, come out of the tomb, and Lazarus does. A dead man is walking. And yet the people of Nazareth find him too much. He's too much, and they don't accept him. You know, today, so many centuries later, we are the same bearers of Jesus' words and actions. Was it Teresa of Avila, Catherine of Siena, one of the two, said that Jesus has no hands but our own, Jesus has no feet but our own, no body but our own. We continue that mission of Jesus. We who are the body of Christ in the church, we continue that same powerful mission. And the reaction is going to be sometimes positive and sometimes negative. You know, it says Jesus could not perform or did not perform many works or mighty deeds because of their lack of faith. In other words, Jesus is not performing mighty deeds to prove anything. Jesus doesn't have to prove anything. Jesus is who he is. People accept or they don't. If they don't, he shakes the dust from his feet and he moves on. I remember one of my professors saying, Jesus was not in show business. He didn't have to prove anything. He didn't have to show anything. He is who he is. And we continue in the church today that mission. St. Ignatius, a good example, a good saint, a good model for us in continuing that mission, especially the teaching mission of Jesus. Many of us are a part of the Jesuit legacy, our teachers, Jesuit. I attended the Gregorian University in Rome, founded by St. Ignatius only 11 years after the founding of the Jesuit order, the Society of Jesus, in 1551. It was called the Roman College in Rome, right in the center of Rome. And that school continues today, called the Gregorian University. You know, the Jesuits, it's sort of interesting how loyal everyone is to the teaching they have received, loyal to the Jesuit order. Our Jesuit high school here in Oregon, in Portland, Beaverton, probably has the largest endowment of any of our high schools. People are grateful for what the Jesuits have given them. But no matter who taught us, no matter who we are, all of us as the body of Christ continue this mission, this powerful mission of teaching and mighty deeds. And some will accept and some will not. But the important thing is that we believe, unlike these people in Nazareth, we believe, faithful to the Word, faithful to the teachings of the Church given to us through St. Ignatius and so many others. Hold that thought, and we'll see you tomorrow.